Lashpreneurs, happy Monday to you. Today we're going to be talking about how to avoid bad hires, toxic team members, salon walkouts, even entitled team members. And even if you're not building out a team or you have zero interest in building out a team, you're going to find something relevant in today's conversation. My name is Tara Walsh. I'm a business coach for beauty service-based businesses, and we're going to talk team building today. So how do you avoid all of those things? Usually what ends up happening is that oftentimes people want to hire somebody. They're either super busy or they want to make more money and stop trading their time for money. And so they end up just kind of hiring somebody, whether it's somebody that reached out to them or it was a friend of a friend or somebody they went to beauty school with, or they put an ad out and they just wanted to hire somebody. But there wasn't much thought and intention about the type of person that they wanted to hire. There wasn't much thought and intention about what the job was and where the business was heading. And so it's kind of just haphazardly throwing a job opportunity out there, getting somebody in the door, and not really much planning or intention behind it. That is an ineffective hiring process, but that's usually how we start, and that's fine. I am all for people taking messy, imperfect action and just figuring it out as they go. However, we want to have a process-dependent business, right? So it's not dependent on any one individual in there. A process-dependent business will help you to build out a business that delivers consistent client results and experiences every single time. This is how you get to be able to scale your business, to get more clients in the door, to get more sales in the door, to stop trading your time for money, because your step-by-steps of how you've done it as a solo provider now can be trained and taught to somebody else. There may be some intention behind that you actually want to pull away from having to be the only service provider in there, in which case we need to actually prioritize profitability. So your processes in your business, your step-by-steps should be where it's producing profit in the business every time a service happens. And when we are not intentional about who we're hiring, we're kind of just hiring whoever, or she seems like she's got a great fit, or I love her personality, but we're not really kind of hiring based on things like core values. Do they show up on time? Do they operate in integrity? You can create your own core values. Or are they a gossiper? Are they toxic? We don't tend to weed those things out because we're so desperate to hire. We're so looking to get relief from either overworking or not having enough money that we think we just need help, right? So it's a desperation hire. And that can work backwards against you, because further down the road, what ends up happening is either we don't really have good onboarding processes, training processes. We have very high expectations without being able to communicate exactly to our new hire what the expectation is. And so usually what I find ends up happening when people start coming to me going like, there's no good hires out there. My team walked out on me. They stole clients, like all these kind of problems that tend to happen, is I start to look at, well, what was the process that we had in place that created the result? Because you have a ton of processes in your business, especially if you've hired and you have a team. You just may not be intentional or aware that there's processes and they may not be working. So for example, if you have a team member who cannot produce the service in the time frame that your expectation is, then you as the business owner might get a little frustrated, right? She takes 3 hours to do a classic set, or she takes 2.5 hours to do a fill. Right? You may be losing money if your team member is taking more time than you do to be able to produce the service and the results, because you've probably priced it in a way that's profitable when you do it at your time frame. But when you add in a labor cost there, oftentimes that's tied to their time. They could be getting in more clients in a day if their time was within the range that you can get clients in. But without setting your team member up for success to be able to learn and know how to do it in the time frame that's expected, well, then they're just gonna take however long it takes. And oftentimes, they're not being told or guided, here's how to do it effectively. Here's how to do it efficiently. Here's the time frame it needs to be done in. How can I help you get there, right? And this is also where an onboarding process is really important. Because when you have a onboarding process, and we teach to a 90-day onboarding process, you are walking through each step of the client experience, application, results, troubleshooting, how to get from point A to point B so that the client walks away happy, pre-books, and comes back. If you're not taking the time to do that, and that's where I find that most business owners kind of underestimate how much time they need to spend with a new hire because they're so busy, then you're not setting your team member up for success. And usually what happens about 1 to 2 months in, when we've hired a new team member, they're like so excited to start at the beginning. You're so excited. It's like the honeymoon phase. And then after a couple of weeks, most business owners tend to have this expectation of she should just know. She should just know, I already went over this, right? We went over it once. We went over it twice. Here's the thing. The reason why we have it over 90 days, a 3-month period, is because there's a lot of repetition and a lot of things that they're getting inundated with information. They're not going to retain everything. So yeah, we need to slow our roll, make sure they're mastering each step and we're building on that step rather than here's all the training, here's how you should know how to do it, and off you go. Go make happy clients, and then you get unhappy clients. So all of that to say, the ways that you avoid toxic team members, bad hires, entitled team members, is often looking at the process that is creating that result in your business. Generally speaking, if you take 100% responsibility for the results and the experience that you have in your business and your life, then you are actually the solution to all of the problems that you're experiencing. So when I start to assess and kind of dive deep with our students on, okay, here's the problem you're facing. You can't retain a team member, or your team members walk out, or your team members just not getting to the level that you want them to be at, and they've been there 6 months and they still can't, do a full set within a certain time frame. I ask them first and foremost, what do you think you did to contribute to that result? Well, I taught her everything. Okay, when did you teach her that? Well, we spent an entire week, the first week she was hired, and we went over everything. Okay, so did that set her up for success? Do you feel like she knew what she was doing after that? Well, she didn't ask any questions. Okay, well, did you test her on it? Did you sit there and watch as she went through a new client and troubleshooted with her? What is the feedback you're getting from clients why they're not rebooking out? Is she even asking to rebook the clients? All of those are processes. And so when we can start to look at our contribution to a team member not performing to the level that we want them to, here's the thing. You have all of the knowledge to get to the results and the experience that clients have known your business for. So therefore, it is your responsibility to be able to communicate that to a team member and make sure that they master it as well. And mastery takes time. You did not become a master in your business and your skill set and your results and your experience for your clients in a month or in 3 months. It may have taken you years to get there, but you also didn't have anybody there guiding you in that and teaching you how to do it. So you are going to need to spend time with a new hire to walk her through to becoming the new you. Right? So anytime that we are looking at a business and where to solve problems, oftentimes where business owners come to us is they've either just fired a team member or they're about to fire a team member and they're just fed up. They're just sick of that person, right? They're just like, she doesn't want to do this. She's not doing it. I've told her so many times. And I usually ask, is it a process issue or a people issue? Now, first and foremost, if your team member has a bad attitude, does not want to work, does not care whether they do it well or not, that is a people issue. That is a bad hire, right? That is somebody who has an attitude. Yes, we can look to maybe we didn't set them up for success, but if they're not motivated to do better, then it's probably best that you guys part ways without drama and just say, this just doesn't sound like it's a good fit for either one of us. I wish you the best. Off you go. However, if you have a team member that's trying, that seems like she does want to do the job well, and maybe she's just getting down on herself, or you're getting down on her, or you can see that she really wants to be there, she just isn't getting the results, then that is a you training issue or a leadership and management issue, and we can work on that. Because chances are, if they have the motivation and the intention to do well in their job, you've got a great team member, right? So we often recommend hiring for who they are, not what they can do. And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong in hiring, is that they hire for skill set first. I only want people who are trained. I only want people who have been doing this X amount of years. I only want somebody with skill set. To me, that's not a scalable business because it limits your candidate pool. And I don't know about y'all, but there's a lot of bad work being done out there. And so chances are whatever they learned probably isn't going to be the same as the results and the experience that your clients have come to know you for. Therefore, you're going to have a very people-dependent business. So you'll do it one way, Jenna will do it another way, Erica will do it her way. And if one of them ever leaves, then all of the clients that see that team member will likely also leave. Why? Because nobody else can produce the results and the experience that she could. And so therefore, we can't get the same results and experience that clients are paying for. So they're going to go somewhere else, or they're going to go try and find her. Right? And no matter what contracts you have in place, you can't stop a client from finding a team member. You can stop the team member from reaching out to clients, sure, but you cannot stop a client from reaching out to a team or a past team member to go find them. So I always recommend having a process to train somebody from start to finish to produce the results of the experience that the business has become known for, no matter how much experience they have. And when you eliminate them from having to have experience, you open up your candidate pool a lot, because you're going to train them no matter what to do it the way that your business has become known for. So now all of a sudden you've got a lot more options to really find the best fit for the vision that you have for your company, for the team culture that you want to build out, for the type of people that you want servicing the clients of your business and your community. You can be much pickier when your candidate pool is open. But when you require that they have a certain amount of experience, you get a lot of entitled team members because they've been around a while. They know the option of like a salon suite is there, and they tend to want to get paid the most amount of money. And whether you hire them or not, chances are you're probably not going to be profitable at paying them at the rate that they would want to work at, because they are hearing all of the other people who are like, oh, I have a salon suite. I make $8,000 a month. I can tell you 99% of people working in salon suites, their sales may be $8,000 a month, but they are not taking home $8,000 a month. Something called operating expenses in there that seems to be missed in conversations when we talk about how much a beauty service provider makes. Just saying. All right. So how do you solve for any sort of issues that you have in your business or with building your team? First and foremost, is this a process issue or a people issue? You will save yourself so much emotional heartache when you can have a process-dependent business. You will take a lot of emotions out of how you lead and manage a team and how you handle clients when you look at processes first. So if you look at the issue you're facing and where in the process did we miss something? Maybe we don't even have an intentional process, right? If we find that clients aren't pre-booking out, what is it in the checkout process where we are asking them to pre-book out? If clients are not getting great retention with their lashes and their lashes are all falling out in a week, there is a process issue of application or aftercare education that's being missed, right? Once you have processes in place, you can then actually have really effective disciplinary processes in place. Because if you find that a team member knows the process, she's been trained on the process, and she is not following it, right? So she's got like an attitude or a resistance to following it, or defiance, or, insubordination in following it, then we can actually have consequences associated with her not following the process that she's been hired and trained to do, that she's being paid to do this job step by step. And if she's not doing this job step by step, then there's a consequence that can go along with that, all the way to the point of her being fired, right? Or they quit. So that's a great way for you to weed out toxic and underperforming team members when we have accountability in place by way of disciplinary processes. But we have to take it on ourselves as the owners first to make sure that our team is well trained, that knows the expectations, that is meeting the expectations. Because if they're not, either we have not done our due diligence in training and onboarding them, or we made a bad hire in the hiring process. But again, those are all process-based decisions, all process-based looking at and evaluating, is this the right fit for the business or not? Because most people want to default to blaming it on everybody else, blaming it on the hire. She's lazy, she's this, she's that. But really, they are a reflection of you. And if you don't take the lesson that you need to learn in order to be able to correct that and not have that happen again in your business, you will find it continues to happen over and over and over again. If you want to learn more about how to build a team profitably and process-based, I'd love to chitter chat with you about our team building programs, just kind of understanding what you've got going on in your business, the challenges you face with building a team. Maybe you're curious about building a team and want to avoid some of the common mistakes that I talked about today. Send me a DM, #hire, and let's chit chat about building a team. All right, guys, have a good one.